Well, finished the latest upgrade. We got 440 watt panels there, strings of 6 to the east, strings of 6 to the right, and the whole thing is tilted to the south. So in the early morning, the first sun hits exactly on the corner as soon as it comes over the shadow of the roof behind, and then the other side gets sun in the evening all the way until it goes down over there behind the satellite dish, and midday they both get equal half illumination. So you're starting off about 2 kilowatts and going around to about 2 kilowatts midday and 2 kilowatts in the evening, right to the last minute, to make sure that your batteries are topped up as soon as the sun comes up from empty after the night, and then topped right up before the sun goes down. Now these are mounted on some homemade Unistrut, because out here you can't get Unistrut, so I had to cut these slots with a plasma cutter, and I'll just have a little show and tell of how the slots were made. Had to make a little machine for it. So here's my messy dungeon, and this is what I made. The plasma cutter goes in the hole there, that way up, and this slots on the box section like this. Here's one I prepared earlier, a really rough one, test cut, and you just slide it along like that, cutting as you go, and you can set it with the screw on the side there, and I've adjusted it for going back the other way to cut the other side of the slot, or you can just turn the whole thing around and run it back down again. And to hold the panels in, this was a bit of a tricky thing to work out, because it requires short bolts or they'll foul the inside of the panel. But if you put the short bolts with a washer obviously on the inside of the Unistrut, then what's going to happen is it'll drop into the slot, slide down, and you'll never get it out again. So I made these with some of this tape you get on rolls for doing some kind of plasterboardery decorator's job, and it requires a lot of them, 4 per panel. So I worked out a bit of a production line where you first put the bolt in the top hole, and then fold it over, and I made a tool from a piece of pipe here that's opened up a little bit, and that goes on top of the vise there, and bang 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 with a hammer after you folded it, and then it crimps. Focus, you fuck. Yeah, crimps the edges over into the flats on the bolt head to make it captive, so it can't spin round when you're trying to do the bloody nut up. And this spring here will fit inside the strut like that, and stick it in bolt first, and then squeeze that and let it ping up, so the bolt will always be exposed. And of course, don't forget to put the washer on first. So as you can imagine, it goes in, and then you have all of these inside, 6 of them per strut length, and then you can slide them up and down to the exact position. And the last thing for the show and tell is this that I made from a welding rod, and this helps manipulate them. You can pull that down there and it will lock onto the end and keep that captive, so you can grab it behind the solar panel when you're trying to mount it all single-handedly. Grab it so the bolt's sticking right out, and then slide it up and down to get it exactly under the hole of the panel. And yeah, that's how you do a frame that big single-handed. In the end, I did actually get help from a neighbour to manoeuvre the lower sets. I just hiked up there myself, and on the high end, because I said, what's a good thing to scale? Well, a ladder for scale. I mean, this is quite high up. It's about as tall as the house, and yeah, these I had to put 3 panels together like this on the Unistrut rails, and then winch the whole lot up, and then stick on the clamps. Now the clamps that hold the rails was going to be just scaffold clamps, but they would foul the panels, they would hit the glass, so I made these type clamps instead, which is 2 pieces of Angerline welded together, no filler rod, just a straight seam, see under there, yeah, just running the torch down it. And then there's a nut on the inside of here, and some 10mm threaded rod stud coming through. And because this is 2 welded together, you get double thickness, so there's a good area inside here that is drilled and then tapped nicely tightly with the first level tap. Could keep it pretty good. So the threaded rod stud is holding that into this, and of course it's at a 60-degree angle anyway, so it's not going to go anywhere. All the weight is backwards, and these just safety locator pins in case a hurricane comes and tries to rip them off. It's not really going to go anywhere. So the angle here is 60 degrees on all the frames to keep the sides parallel, and minimal cross bracing. All of this stuff up here was just to have a platform to work on while the clamps were going in from the top. That's going to come off, or maybe have a permanent flooring on there, so kids playhouse, I don't know, whatever it turns out to be. But yeah, it's successful. Haven't had a proper sunny day, it's been miserable and gloomy since it's gone up, but this should be giving everything that the inverter can suck up at the moment. It's putting out about 240 volts for the whole lot, so that's a string of 6 is given that voltage. The inverter can take 400, I think, or 450, but the guy who was in charge of the warehouse and lots of massive solar installations, he did tell me, don't go anywhere near your maximum because it won't end up well. And also the temperature coefficient on panels can mean that it already adds in the winter, and here it can get below -20, and that almost adds 2 more panels onto the end effectively in voltage. The other thing about the 60 degrees, as well as getting the light fully through the day is it sheds the snow. So I mean, there's very little chance of any snow sticking to that. If it gets really sticky snow blowing into it and it sticks, then as soon as the light hits the panels, they'll warm up and it will slide off. Anyway, there's a dog, hairy boy, good boy Charlie. Even the dog's wired up. He's got a 433 megahertz PSK data mode tracker on him. Everything's got a computer and a bit of wire hanging off it. Keeps women away. Anyway, cheers for watching. Good luck.